had it been a normal day game with Australia's lead, I definitely would have batted again. But it wasn't, was it? You know, the facts of the matter are it's the middle of the night. It's exactly the period of a day-night match where you want to have the ball in your hand. And, you know, for the sake of what would it have been, 25 overs or something, they could have had England 4 down and the game was done and dusted anyway. They would have had England 4 down, I have no doubt about it.
Wow, we got 3 batters here, right? And you imagine what? Vince, Cook, Root,
please bat again.
Finn.
Please bat again.
Yeah, please bat again. I've nothing worse than being bowled out twice in the day. Those 3 or 4 of them had a chance of being getting out twice in a day, going out under lights. You know, fragile batting lineup. It tells me a little bit, as you say, about what Steve Smith thinks about his bowlers. He said, I'm going to have to look after them not only for this game, but for 5 test matches I've got to look after. They're fragile. There's a reason this lineup hadn't played with each other before the first test match, is because they weren't fit at the same time, and he's very worried about his attack. Not the ability in them, but how long they'll last.
Again, in terms of captaincy and making decisions, and big decisions, in an Ashes series, when you're away from home, what is it like when you go back to your hotel room and you shut the door and you might have some room service and you're on your own thinking about the decisions that have been made, what could have been made, and how does that affect you and your psyche and the way you go out and perform as a player? Because first and foremost, both Joe Root and Steve Smith are batsmen.
Yeah, no, I was more worried. You've both played with me. I was more worried about my game. I was always a worrier about my game, definitely, but not about captaincy. I think about captaincy, you make a decision. That's why I go and advise any captain, really, just make it on your gut feel. Don't do it because your vice captain tells you or the coach. Work on your gut feel, because if you always do that, then you can say, well, that's what I thought at the time. Never look back. Joe should now not look back and say, well, what would have happened if I had batted first, etc. Don't do that. And I never did that. You made that decision. Could have gone the other way. And also with captaincy, amazing me with captaincy, everyone just sees it as black or white. And I know as pundits you have to be strong in your opinion. Some of the best pundits, you look at Gary Neville in the football or whatever, very strong in his opinion. Captaincy, sometimes there are grey areas. There are flip side. Yeah, you could bowl first, but if Anderson and Broad don't get it right, they're going to make you look very silly. You could bat first and it's going to move around a lot. Sometimes we don't mention it when captains bat first, and it's an absolute shocker and they're bowled out for 150. That never seems to get the press. So my 2 points there are, don't worry about it. It's done, it's dusted, put it to bed. And I don't know what my second point is, but it's a very good one.
Well, I'm sure we'll come back to that in due course, if you like. Let's talk about the batting, though, because that's what Trevor Bayliss said. The batting is a concern. Is it, and why? Well,
you've got three guys in your top 5 who've not made a Test match 100. Stoneman, Vince, Milan. James Vince, I was completely and utterly dumbfounded when I heard not only that he'd made the squad in the first place, but second that he was going to bat number 3 if he played. Which, you know, where did that come from? Where was that sudden rationale plucked from his initial forays into Test match cricket?
He played well at the Gabba.
He did play well at the Gabba, yeah. He's allowed to play well, but you know, for me, the guy that they left behind in Tom Westley had a more suitable game to playing in Australia than James Vince. Tom Westley criticised for being a little bit leg side, playing across the line, closed face. Well, you know, you think of the guys who played like that, Australian players. Ricky Ponting, for one, was a guy who was always looking to hit the ball towards mid-on and not extra cover. With the extra bounce on Australian pitches, Tom Westley, for me, was more likely to score runs than James Vince. And James Vince has got out, caught behind, 8 times out of 9 or something, or caught in the slip cordon, because he stays slightly leg side of the ball and hits the ball towards extra cover. So right in the first place, without even having a ball bowled, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. Mark Stoneman looks like he's got the game to progress. Needs to find himself a score, needs to get himself 100, needs to know that he can bat for that sort of length of time to do that. And Darwin Milan, I was really impressed with him the other night. But again, that's 3 guys in your top 5 not made a Test match 100, so you're already up against it before you start. Moeen Ali at 6 is a place or 2 too high for me in the order. This has all come about because of Ben Stokes. You know, the entire balance of where England's strength is, which has been 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 if you include Chris Woakes, is completely ruined taking Ben Stokes out of it, which means we're now, you know, very, very upset about where Johnny Bairstow is in the order. He's now too low. You know, there are all kinds of issues with the batting order, and of course, Alistair Cook has had in his career runs like you would not believe, where he doesn't look like ever scoring a run. looks like he's in one of those at the minute. And Joe Root is captain and our best player, and he's under an enormous amount of pressure to bat at number 3, to bat at number 4, to score double hundreds, to make all the right decisions at the toss. This is not a batting lineup that's filling you with an enormous amount of confidence.
We'll talk about the specific lineup in a minute, but to James Vince, you said in one of your pieces that you feel he needs to be a bit mentally tougher. What do you mean by that? The repetitive nature.
Yeah, the repetitive nature. The reason he was left out last time, I think everyone felt he was a good player, but he kept getting out the same way. 7 in 7, he nicked off against, who was it, Pakistan, nicked off in that slip cordon. They kept dishing it out there and he kept nicking it. At some stage you've got to say to yourself, you know, they keep bowling out there. If I keep getting out, I've got to put that shot away. It's a sign of madness to expect a different result doing it the same way. So the same thing's happening now after that. Those runs at the Gabba, 80 odd, he's got out the same way, and where he's going next, the whacker, playing away from his body with a 45-degree angle bat with the bounce is very dangerous. We've seen lads like John Crawley who used to love that back foot punch with an angle bat, turn up at the whacker, nick it off in that gully region. He's got to leave it out there. I think he's got a lot of ability, James Vince, but it's not about playing the prettiest cover drive of the day, the nicest shot of the day. It's about getting runs. It's about learning your game and managing your game and reacting to how the opposition are looking to get you out.
So what
Lineup that's filling you with an enormous amount of confidence.
We'll talk about the specific lineup in a minute, but to James Vince, you said in one of your pieces that you feel he needs to be a bit mentally tougher. What do you mean by that? The repetitive nature.
Yeah, the repetitive nature. The reason he was left out last time, I think everyone felt he was a good player, but he kept getting out the same way. 7 in 7, he nicked off against, who was it, Pakistan, nicked off in that slip cordon. They kept dishing it out there and he kept nicking it. At some stage you've got to say to yourself, you know, they keep bowling out there. If I keep getting out, I've got to put that shot away. It's a sign of madness to expect a different result doing it the same way. So the same thing's happening now after that. Those runs at the Gabba, 80 odd, he's got out the same way, and where he's going next, the whacker, playing away from his body with a 45-degree angle bat with the bounce is very dangerous. We've seen lads like John Crawley who used to love that back foot punch with an angle bat, turn up at the whacker, nick it off in that gully region. He's got to leave it out there. I think he's got a lot of ability, James Vince, but it's not about playing the prettiest cover drive of the day, the nicest shot of the day. It's about getting runs. It's about learning your game and managing your game and reacting to how the opposition are looking to get you out.
So what